Hello, this is Damian from Cool Mentors IT. Welcome to my Introduction to Git and GitHub course. This course is aimed at people who have nothing to do with Git and GitHub yet. Now I would like to introduce you to what this course will be. This course is an introduction. It's a mini course. Just to be clear, we will just cover the basics here. This is not a complete Git course. You won't learn everything about Git with me. But this course can be a good introduction if you are new to Git, because this course is for people who don't work with Git yet. If you already use Git, you probably won't learn anything new here. You learn here from scratch and only the foundations. In this course, I will try to explain the concepts of Git and not just show how to do something, because there are many resources on the web from which you can find out how to do something with virtually no idea how it works. I will try to show you how to do something and explain why it works like that. And at the same time, I will try to explain it as simply as I can. Remember that this will be a short course. It will last several hours. I will try to include as much information as is necessary for the beginners. At the same time, still remaining in the area of the basics. I will work on Windows in this course. This has some consequences. But if you are running Linux or Mac, that's not a problem. I will be working on Windows, at the same time trying to show you how some issues may differ depending on the command line or the operating system used. I use the Visual Studio Code Editor and that matters slightly more. If you use a different code editor, there may be a problem, because I will be showing some things in the graphical interface of Visual Studio Code. We will be using Git not only in the command line, which is very good to start with, but I will also show you how to integrate Git with VSC and use the advantages of this code editor. Basic knowledge of HTML and CSS is welcome. We will not dive too much into these technologies, nor will we learn them in this course. I mention this because learning Git only makes sense if you already know some front-end or programming basics. Getting to know Git is not necessarily a good solution to the very beginning of your front-end or programming learning. Take it as a next step in your study. The best time to learn Git is when you start thinking about looking for a job as a front-end developer or a programmer, because that's when Git really comes in handy. So if you don't know Git yet, I would like you to get to know it along with me. And then I would like you to start using it in your own projects, which will allow you to get to know it even better. 2 reasons why you should get to know Git. The first one, because it comes in handy. It is useful even when you work on the projects by yourself, for example as a freelancer. On the other hand, Git is essential when you work in a team. The second reason, knowing Git is a must-have to get a job as a front-end developer or a programmer. And this course will give you the basics of knowing Git, so you can start looking for your first job in the IT industry. What you will learn from this course. What is Git and how to use it on a very basic level. Git is a very complex system and it takes a lot of time to learn it. But the basics can be learned quite quickly, and that's what we are going to do. You will learn how to use GitHub. You will learn what GitHub is, and you will find out that Git and GitHub are not the same. I will show you how to use GitHub and why you should use it. I will also show you how to use the command interpreter. We will be using Windows PowerShell and Git Bash for this. If you're using Linux or Mac, then you will probably just use Bash. Git Bash is a solution that emulates Linux Bash on Windows. I will be using different command lines to show you some differences. I will also show you the integration between Git, GitHub, and Visual Studio Code. I will show you how to properly and safely manage our project. Finally, I will show you how to upload your projects to GitHub and GitHub pages. And this is quite an important issue also from the point of view of the employers, because often the employers expect a link to your GitHub profile so they can view your projects there. Now, how you will learn in this course. There will be many practical examples, but also a lot of theory. We will start by writing commands in the console. I'll tell you a bit what the commands are, what they do, and what they mean. Later, we will do the same as in the console, using the Visual Studio Code graphical interface. There are several ways to use Git, and I want to show them to you. On the way, I will show you the GitHub platform and how to integrate it with Git and our code editor. We will publish our repository on GitHub, but you will also see how to publish and share your project with the world using GitHub Pages. The repository is the entire workspace of our project, along with the files and history of changes that we put on GitHub. However, on GitHub Pages, we can place, for example, a production version of our website or application, as on a typical hosting to be displayed to the users in the browser. One little note before starting the course. It must hurt. It means there will be some irritation along the way. Lots of new concepts will emerge. I will have to mention some of them without explaining them yet, in order to be able to talk about something else. This may be hard for you to learn at first, but trust me, after some time everything will become more and more clear to you. Just don't get discouraged. Now I would like to say something about the 3 realities of working with the project. Let's assume that you work alone and you know it is worth to make a project backup. For example, you create folders for yourself with different stages of a certain project. And this is the minimum for your own safety. But it's not the best way to backup. Keeping the backup on the same computer as the main project is not the best solution. So backup is the reality we have to face. The second reality we have to face is the fact that we broke something. We know the previous solution worked, but we need to find it now. What version did this solution work in? In which folder? When was it? These questions become much more difficult if we work in a team. Who changed something? Who broke something and when? And how to get back to the previous version without overriding other things. The third reality is a cooperation in a team. How to effectively manage a project in a group. Where is the currently working version of the project? How to combine 2 independent project modules. How to document the changes into the project so that it is known who introduced what changes. And how to work independently, but on one and the same project by several dozen or several hundred people. The solution to these 3 and many more problems is the version control system. And the most popular version control system is Git. It's worth remembering this name and this logo. And at this stage we can finally start learning Git.